From the time of Hazrat Adam to the time of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we study those religions of the past and those religions which the Holy Prophets brought down with them, we come to the understanding that every single religion was the same. From the time of Hazrat Adam till the time of the Holy Prophet, every single religion was the same. The difference was the jurisprudence, the laws. Right? The laws change over time. If we were to look at today's three monotheistic religions, the Abrahamic faiths, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, and we look at the commonalities within these three religions, we will come to the understanding that all three religions are the same. And if we were to go back and we see that the oldest religion is Judaism, and if we study their laws, and then after Judaism came Christianity, and if we started to study Christianity, we see that Hazrat Isa brought the laws which completed Judaism, and at the same time complemented Judaism. And we study, we see that those were the Jews and followed their religion correctly. Once the religion of Hazrat Isa came, they all became followers of Hazrat Isa without any questions, because they realized that Isa has brought down a religion which completes Judaism. And after that, if we look at Islam, we see that Islam is a religion which completed both Christianity and Judaism. We see that when the Holy Prophet was born, when the signs of his birth appeared, numerous, both Jews and Christians, flocked towards Makkah for the birth of the Holy Prophet, because they had already been foretold the signs in regards to the birth of a prophet, where they had been forewarned by Hazrat Isa themselves, that after they will become a prophet whose name will be Ahmed. And these are his characteristics, these are his signs. And he will bring the complete religion. And I must say that even then, if we look at the 63 years of the life of the Holy Prophet, this is the difference between the schools of thought in Islam. That we as Shias, we believe that the Holy Prophet was born a prophet, and whatever he done was from a prophetic point of view. Whereas the other schools of thought believe no, that the Holy Prophet announced his prophethood at the age of 40. Or he became a prophet at the age of 40, therefore he announced it. No, he said that he was born a prophet, but he announced his prophethood to the world at the age of 40. There's a big difference. But even that, during those 63 years, we come to the conclusion of the life of the Holy Prophet at the event of Ghadir. That this is when the Holy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saw it fit to state that today I have completed your religion upon you and named your religion Islam. So you understand that? And those who have studied the ayat in regards to Ghadir, the event of Ghadir, you realize that the Holy Prophet, or when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to the Holy Prophet, he starts this ayat with Ya ayyuha rasul. And if we look in the Holy Quran and we look at the numerous other ayat in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is directly speaking to the Holy Prophet, he is always calling the Holy Prophet by his titles. For example, Yasin, Ya ayyuhal muzammil, Ya ayyuhal mudaththir. These are all the titles which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon the Holy Prophet in the Holy Quran. And it is through these titles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to the Holy Prophet. But on this occasion, the occasion of Qadir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks directly to the Holy Prophet by saying, Ya ayyuha Rasul. And I'll give you an example. The youth, when our parents call us, what do they call us by? It is very rare that they call us by our names. By our names that they have given us. They call us son, or nicknames or titles which our parents have given us, they call us by that nickname. But the minute, for example, if my father was to say Farazdaq, naturally the thought will occur in my mind that whatever my father wishes to tell me must be of importance. That is why he is calling me by my name. Otherwise he will not call me by the nicknames that he has given me. Even here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he calls the Holy Prophet by saying, Ya ayyuha Rasul, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pointing towards the prophetic mission of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and not anything else. Therefore, whatever he wishes to say is related to prophethood and the purpose of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Allah continues in the Quran that if you do not pass on the message, then it is as if you have not completed your mission. Here we understand the importance of the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has completed the religion of Islam by telling us about the successorship and the wilayat of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. That if we wish to make sure that my Islam is complete, then we must understand that our Islam is only complete with the wilayat of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. And that is the path that we must follow. And if we follow the path of others, then we are surely at a loss. What having said that, today is the first of Moharram. On the day of Ashura, Imam Hussain in the afternoon, after his family's members have been martyred, his companions have been martyred, he's left all alone. He goes onto the hilltop in Karbala and cries out, Hal min nasirin yansuruna, Hal min mughithin mughithuna. That is there anyone to help me? That echo, that cry of Imam Hussain 1400 years ago still echoes today in the skies. But that cry of Hal min nasirin yansuruna of today is cried out by the Imam of our time. That the Imam of our time is crying out, Hal min nasirin yansuruna, is there anyone to help us? We all cry out the slogan of Labbaik ya Imam. But do we mean when we say Labbaik ya Imam that we are ready to give everything for the Imam? Or no? And when it comes to the Imam of our time, we all, there are two aspects of the Imam. One is the physical attributes and the physical aspect of the Imam of our time, and the second is the spiritual. We unfortunately, we place more importance upon the physical attributes and aspects of the Imam. Meaning we're more worried about what the Imam will look like when he reappears, what the Imam will do when he reappears, and what are the signs of his reappearance. This is what we are looking at. Far more important than these actions are that we place importance upon the spiritual aspects of the Imam. When we look at the physical aspects of the Imam, because the Imam is not present amongst us, therefore, naturally we think that the Imam is in occultation. Therefore, because the Imam is not in front of us, therefore we place importance on the physical aspects. The minute, so what? But the minute we start placing importance upon the spiritual aspects of the Imam, that what does the Imam want from us? What has the Imam taught us? How does the Imam want us as his followers to behave? Then the Imam becomes physical. Then the Imam becomes present in front of us. That we are constantly thinking of the Imam of our time. And all of us here, we all pray for two things in regards to the Imam of our time. One is, we pray for the hastening in his reappearance, that he reappears quickly, so that he rids the world of injustice and tyranny. This is one thing that every single follower of the Imam prays for. Second is that we all get to meet the Imam before his reappearance. This is another aspect which we all pray for. Now the first, in regards to the first, that salawat. That we pray for the hastening in the reappearance of the Imam. Know that it is wajib for the Imam to appear, but only when Islam is in danger. The same way that Imam Hussain al-Islam stood and left Medina because it had become wajib, compulsory upon him to leave the safety of Medina and to protect the religion of his grandfather. Because Islam had changed so much that it had become compulsory for the Imam to leave. The same when at this time, when Islam becomes in such a danger where it becomes wajib for the Imam to reappear, then the Imam will reappear. Second, that we pray that we all get to meet the Imam. In regards to this, firstly, know that on the day of judgment, when the Imam reappears, every single creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will point towards the Imam of our time and say that I have met this man. And this man came to me in my time of need. Every single creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, when the Imam reappears, will cry that I've seen this man. But another aspect that we wish to meet the Imam during our lifetime, knowing that I'm meeting the Imam of our time. That's completely different. For that, we have to change ourselves. Now I'll ask a question. That in what situation do I wish to see the Imam? There are numerous amals and du'as to be carried out for you to meet the Imam. There are numerous, the books of ahadith. And if you wish to meet the Imam, then recite this dua for a certain amount of days and you will meet the Imam. But the question is, do I wish the Imam, or do I wish to meet the Imam in a situation where I find myself in a situation where the Imam is not pleased to see me because I'm not practicing the religion according to his teachings? Or do I wish to meet the Imam where I find myself in a situation where the Imam is pleased, knowing that this is my servant, that he has practiced the religion of my forefathers according to the teachings of my forefathers? Two completely different aspects. One is that you do the du'as, the Imam will come to meet you, but the Imam is not pleased. Second is, the Imam comes to meet you, yet he is pleased knowing that this is my true believer. And you have numerous examples. There's a famous incident. During the times of Ayatollah Tahrani, Mirza Tahrani, he narrates that when I was studying in Najaf, there came a time where I was traveling to a city where I had never been to before, and the city was named Hilla. As I entered the city of Hilla, as was the tradition there, that the first thing that you look for is the mosque, where you can refresh and prepare and do your prayers, because you are a guest in the city. Because as I entered the city, I saw a minaret and a dome, and naturally it occurred to me that this must be a mosque. And because I started to walk towards the minaret, when I got closer to the building, on the door of the building, it has stated that هذا مقام Imam al-Zaman, that this is the place of Imam al-Zaman, the Imam of our time. Because it did not look like a mosque to me. But because I entered and I asked the neighbors that what is this place? They replied that this is a house of one of the elders who passed away approximately 50 years ago. goes, so what is the reason for the sign? He goes, this is where the Imam of our time appeared. So, Mirza Tehrani goes that I was curious. And I sat down and asked him to narrate the incident for me. So I started to narrate. Was that the person who lived here was elderly, a very pious person who would constantly be praying in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and will be constantly praying for the reappearance of the Imam. Well, there came a time where he was walking and all of a sudden a random person came next to him. And he asked, what are you reciting? He goes, I'm praying for the reappearance of our Imam. And the old person asked, what would you do if the Imam came at this moment? Because I would ask the Imam that why is it that you're not reappearing when there are so many of your ardent worshippers and believers? Why are you not appearing? So the old person started to smile and said that on Thursday, come to the outskirts of the city and you would meet with the Imam. And the man disappeared. The minute the person disappeared, the person realized that this person was the Imam. So he waited until Thursday, he went to the outskirts of the city to meet the Imam. And he started to complain to the Imam, saying that, oh Imam, there's so many people, so many ardent followers just in the city of Hilla. There are approximately 1,000 of your most ardent followers. And I believe if you look across the globe, you'll find numerous cities where you'll find over 1,000 people who are the most ardent of followers. The Imam started to smile and said, okay, if that's the case, then I'll give you a deed to carry out. And invite whoever out of those 1,000, whoever you think are the most abid, the most spiritual, invite them to your house and I will appear on next Thursday. But before that, you must also buy 2 lambs and tie them onto the roof of your house. So, the person agreed. He went back to the city and he went to the butcher, who was also known to be pious. And he told the butcher the whole incident, and he bought 2 lambs from him and went and tied them to the roof of the house. Come Thursday, out of those 1,000, they managed to gather 100 of those faithful followers of the Imam into the courtyard of his house. And they said, look towards the sky. All of a sudden they saw that a light is coming down from the skies onto the roof of the Sheikh's house. When the light landed on the roof, called out for the Sheikh and the butcher to come onto the roof. They went on the roof and the Imam told the Sheikh and the butcher that slaughter one of the lambs in a way that the blood from the lamb goes into the drain and into the courtyard below, where all the people have gathered. So, the butcher slaughtered the first lamb, and the blood went down the drain into the courtyard, and those who were the most ardent followers of the Imam, all trembling out of fear that the Imam has killed one of the followers that he had called up on the roof. Half of them ran away. Then, the Imam gave the orders for the second lamb to be slaughtered. Second lamb was slaughtered, the blood went down the drain into the courtyard. People saw that and thought that the Imam has now killed both the butcher and the Sheikh who he had called upon the roof. And now it is our turn next. The minute they started to think of this, they all ran from the courtyard. The Imam then turns towards the Sheikh and the butcher, goes look into the courtyard. They go back down, look into the courtyard, see it's empty. They go, these are not the followers that I need. The followers that I need are like the 72 companions of Hussain ibn Ali. Now, when we cry out Labbaik Ya Imam, are we willing to sacrifice everything that we have for the Imam? Or the minute the Imam reappears, we start thinking about ourselves. Like, how do I leave my children behind? How do I leave my family behind? How can I leave everything and walk towards the Imam? And the same incident of Habib ibn Madahir, when Hussain ibn Ali wrote him a letter. What did Habib ibn Madahir do? He read the letter, He kissed it and put it into his pocket. His wife asks, "Oh Habib, who is this letter from that you have shown this letter so much respect?" Habib replies that this letter is from my master Hussain ibn Ali, in which he's asking for my help, that he is all alone in the sand dunes of Karbala, and he is asking for my help. The wife asked Habib ibn Mubarak, "Your Imam has called for you, therefore what are you going to do?" Habib ibn Mubarak replies, "That I do not know. What should I do? How can I leave you and my son behind all alone and go to sacrifice my life for Hussain ibn Ali?" The minute the wife of Habib ibn Mubarak heard this, she got up. She took her hijab off and threw it at Habib ibn Mubarak, saying that, "You sit at home, wear this hijab and look after the child. I will go to Karbala." Habib ibn Mubarak, hearing this, stood up with tears in his eyes. He goes, "No, I was only testing you. How can you think that the Imam of my time calls upon me and I will say no?" Today the Imam is constantly, the echo of Hal min Nasirin Yansurullah is constantly echoing in the skies. How many of us are saying Labbaik Ya Imam? Truly meaning that whatever the Imam asks from me, I will do it without any questioning. Today in our times, unfortunately, I don't know about the situation in Kuwait. Majority of places where I have been, the youth are constantly asking in regards to the fatwas issued by the Maraji. Saying that, on what basis has, for example, Ayatollah Sistani issued this fatwa? Then I do not accept it. I do not do this, I do not do that. And what does he know about my situation whilst I'm living in the West? For example, or some people come up with the most stupidest of questions. This happened to me last year. I went to see Sayed Sistani, and there's a group of pilgrims from America, and I was nominated as a translator. And there's a woman who is in the group, and she goes, "Sayed, I have a question which I want to ask." She goes, "The question I ask is, why is it that there are no Western toilets in the Haram of Imam Ali and Imam Hussain?" And I looked at her, I go, "Are you serious? Do you seriously want me to ask this question?" Well, Abdullah Sistani is there to ease your religion for you. If you wish to understand what marja'iyah is, in one sentence, a marja is there for you so that he is able to simplify your religion for you. And second, on the day of judgment, if we have done something incorrect, then it lies upon the shoulders of the marja. Stating that I was not a specialist in religion. I followed someone who was. Therefore, it's on his shoulders, not on my shoulders. He's there to simplify Islam for you. And that is how you find out for the youth. If you wish to find out who is the most knowledgeable in your eyes, the most knowledgeable is that person who has been able to simplify the laws of Islam for you the most. That's in the simplest of terms. Whichever marja in your eyes has simplified laws for you the most, you follow him. And it's the same, I ask this, that when they ask, why should I follow only one marja? How many GPs do you go to? Do you have one GP, general practitioner, your doctor? Or do you go to numerous other doctors? You go to one doctor because you believe in him. You think he's the most knowledgeable and he's able to save your life. The marja is there for the same, but for, once again, like I said yesterday, that soul which is eternal. That soul which will never die, which will never rot. That is what we need to safeguard. Because that is what will be questioned on the day of judgment. Our soul. Our soul is what? Will go either in heaven or hell. That is what we need to protect. And that is what the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are there for. That we must understand the importance of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam and those who are safeguarding their religion in today's society. Had it not been for the marjas, had it not been for those scholars who have constantly defied all odds to protect the religion of Hussain Ali. Look at Iraq in the situation of ISIS, for example. And now it was Sayyid Sistani who gave the orders that it is compulsory for the youth of Iraq to get up and defend. The government did not say this. It was Sayyid Sistani which created the youth, which forced the youth of Iraq to stand up and protect themselves. But know that in every aspect of life, it is compulsory for us to defend our religion. And our religion is under attack from all aspects of life. Not just physically. But the greatest war, jihad bin nafs. The enemy is now attacking our belief. In regards to Moharram, for example. In regards to numerous other acts which we carry out in the name of religion. The youth are questioning. Why should we be doing this? Why do we beat our chests, for example, for Sayyid Ali? Why do we weep for Sayyid Ali? Why is it that we believe in this? Why is it that we believe that Ali ibn Abi Talib lifted the doors of Khaybar with his two fingers? Where we have read in history that each panel of the door will take 20 people to open and close, yet we say Ali ibn Abi Talib lifted both panels with two fingers and then used it as a footbridge. This history. How can I accept this? It is not physically possible. But you must understand that Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam was sent down by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the protector of the Holy Prophet. This is why we say that he is Yadullah, he is Aynullah, he was Lisanullah. That whatever Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam done was for the sake of religion and nothing else. Whatever the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam done was for the sake of religion and nothing else. The minute we start thinking the same, and if we start to think of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam as our role models, that these, the 14 Ma'sumeen alayhi salam, are only those who we can follow and are our role models. The least we will become, we all know that we will not become like the Ahlul Bayt, but the least we will become is Miqdad. The least we will become is Abu Dhar. The least we will become Salman al-Farsi, Habib ibn al-Madahir, and the faithful companions of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. We can reach that stage where we are on par with the companions of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. There's no difference between us and the companions. The only difference between me and the companion is that the companion sacrificed everything for the sake of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Everything that they did. The famous incident during the time of our sixth Imam, Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. Salawat. Where a companion came to Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam saying that I'm the most ardent follower and there is no greater follower than me. The Imam started to smile and he was standing next to the Tanur and told the companion, if that is the case then jump into the Tanur, where the oven, where the fire was at its peak. The companion looked at the Imam, terrified, saying, "Oh Imam, your followers are in the minority as it is. Yet they wish me to kill myself by jumping into this oven and lessening your followers even more." And he started pleading with the Imam. At the same time, another companion came. After Sadiq looked at him, he said, "Salaam alaikum salam," and said, no question, after salams, the Imam told the companion to jump into the oven. The second companion, without any questioning, jumped into the oven. The Imam then shut the door of the oven and started to carry on with his discussion with the first companion. It reached a stage where the first companion was shaking, thinking what had happened to the companion that is in the oven. The Imam started to smile and said that you are wondering about what has happened to this companion of mine. He goes, yes. The Imam lifted the oven, the door, and looked, both the companion Imam Ja'far Sadiq looked into the oven and saw that that person, that companion who had jumped into the oven, was praying namaz and singing the praise of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, and the fire was not touching him. The Imam then looked towards the first companion and said that know that those who are my most sincere followers will never see harm from us, the Ahlul Bayt. Today, in today's society, you see the news, you watch the news and you see how faithful followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam are being oppressed, are being massacred on a daily basis. I always say that this massacre, this tyranny against the Shias of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, do not think of it as our loss. This massacre of the Shias, this tyranny against the Shias, is our victory. Be proud that we are being killed on a daily basis because the enemy knows that we are on the correct path. Be proud in it. Openly announce that we are followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. There's no harm in it. And know that you will be rewarded for remaining steadfast upon your religion. And that religion is the religion of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. That is the true Islam. We will continue this discussion on a daily basis about the two different Islams which exist today. One is the political Islam, one is the Islam of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, which has been in existence since the time of the Holy Prophet. But today we are gathered to remember the greatest sacrifice of mankind, the sacrifice of Hussain ibn Ali alayhi salam. Okay, there reached a time where Muawiyah dies and he nominates his son Yazid as his successor. In his last will to Yazid, Muawiyah writes that, "O Yazid, I leave my successorship in the Khilafah to you, but if you wish your Khilafat, your government, your governorship to be a success, then you must get the allegiance of 4 personalities who are in Medina. And of these, the most important is of Hussain ibn Ali. If you are able to get the allegiance of Hussain ibn Ali, then know that no enemy will ever be able to fight you. And you will have strength in your government. But at the same time, Muawiyah writes that I warn you that if you were to go into battle with Hussain ibn Ali, and if Hussain ibn Ali had these 4 personalities with him, present with him in the battle, then know that no army will ever be able to overpower them. The personalities of Hussain ibn Ali, Ali ibn Hussain, Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, and Abdullah ibn Ja'far al-Tayyar, as well as Muslim ibn Aqil. If these 5 personalities are together, no matter what army you bring, they will be annihilated. And if you look, those who today say that Karbala was a war between 2 princes, then the question arises that why did Hussain ibn Ali not take these 5 personalities with him? Muslim ibn Aqil, he sent beforehand to the city of Kufa. Abdullah ibn Ja'far al-Tayyar, he left behind as a successor, as his representative in the city of Medina. Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, he never gave him the permission to fight with the sword. Ali ibn Hussain fell ill because he had to carry out the connection of Imamate. From this we realize that Imam did not go to Karbala for war. Then the reason he writes, Yazid writes to Walid, who was the governor of Medina at the time. He says that my father has died and I'm now the successor, I'm now the Khalifa. And I ask you to get allegiance from these four personalities. Walid looks at the letter of Yazid and calls upon Marwan for advice on what I should do. Marwan comes to the palace and says that invite all of those privately to the palace and ask them to give their allegiance. He sends a messenger to Hussain ibn Ali that Walid has called him into the palace. Imam Hussain reads the letter where Walid is calling him during the night. Abu al-Fadl Abbas asked Imam Hussain what is happening, why is Walid calling to the palace at this time of night? Imam Hussain goes, now there's only one reason that I can be summoned at this time, and that is that Muawiyah has died, he has left Yazid as his successor, and Yazid wishes to have my bay'at. Therefore, they are calling me to give my allegiance. Imam Hussain goes towards the palace of Walid with 30 of the youth of Bani Hashim. Once he reaches the palace, he gives orders to Abu al-Fadl Abbas that no one enters into the palace but me. But if you hear me raise my voice, then enter into the palace. Hussain ibn Ali goes alone into the palace where he meets Walid and Marwan. Walid passes on the message that Muawiyah has died and Yazid is the Khalifa now, and he wants your bay'at. Imam Hussain first gives condolences on the death of Muawiyah and says that if that is the case, then come out once you announce it in public and you ask for allegiance from the public, then you also come to me and ask for me for my allegiance in public, not in privacy. Hearing this, Walid accepted. But Marwan, who was sitting on his side, turns to Walid and says, do not let Hussain leave. You either take his bay'at, his allegiance, or you sever his head at this precise moment. Hearing this, Imam Hussain got angry, raised his voice and shouted, that how can you expect a person like me to give allegiance to a person like Yazid? The minute Hussain ibn Ali raised his voice, the faithful companions and the youth of Bani Hashim entered into the palace with the swords drawn. But Imam Hussain calmed the youth down and said, let us leave. The Imam goes back home and he starts to ponder. There comes a time where in the morning he calls upon the youth of Bani Hashim and gives them the orders to pack their bags. For it is now time for us to leave the city of Medina to protect the religion of my grandfather. As he prepares, as the youth of Bani Hashim start to prepare to leave, Hussain ibn Ali goes to visit and pay his last salams upon the grave of his grandfather, the Holy Prophet. He goes and sits next to the Holy Prophet, next to the grave of the Holy Prophet, and starts to cry out to the Holy Prophet, saying, "O Prophet, O grandfather, the time has now come where your grandson is all alone. The time has now come where the city of Medina, your city, is no longer safe for the grandson of the Holy Prophet. And he must leave to keep the sanctity of the holy city and to protect the religion of your grandfather." He gets up and he leaves. He then goes to visit the grave of his mother Fatima Zahra. There's an incident which says that once the Imam reached the grave of his mother, he sits down and he falls asleep next to the grave of his mother Fatima Zahra. And he starts to complain to Fatima Zahra about how the nation are treating Hussein. And he then seeks for permission to leave, that he must now leave. As he gets up to leave, a voice cries out, "O my son, fi amanillah, may God be with you, and know that your grandfather and I myself are present with you at all times. And hasten towards me, for we are eagerly awaiting your arrival." Hussain ibn Ali leaves. He goes back to his house, where he sees a young daughter by the name of Fatima, who is severely ill, and she is bedridden. She knows that something is happening because of the movement which is taking place. And she's constantly praying that she is also taken with the family. She calls upon her father, Hussain ibn Ali. She goes, "Oh father, I wish to come with you. You know that I have never left your side. Therefore I wish to come with you." Hussain ibn Ali goes, "My daughter, you're too ill. Do you know why I have named you Fatima? I have named you Fatima because you resemble my mother so much. But at the same time, another title given to my mother was Sabira, the most patient one. I now ask you to be the same. That you're too ill to travel, therefore I ask you to stay with your grandmother, Al-Baneen and Salama. Stay with them and we will once again return." Fatima is not able to say anything but agree to the wishes of her father. But then she remembers that the most favorite uncle of the youth of Bani Hashim, Abul Fadl Abbas, is present. Abul Fadl Abbas, who has never said no to any of the children, who has always fulfilled the promises of the children. Fatima calls upon Abul Fadl Abbas. Abul Fadl Abbas enters with Hazrat Ali Akbar. Fatima pleads to Abul Fadl Abbas to take her with them. Yet there comes a time where Ali Akbar says, "Oh Fatima, you're too ill. But I promise that once we have moved and resettled, then we will come back to Kuwait." Fatima agrees, but she has one last wish from Ali Akbar. She goes, "Oh Ali Akbar, when you get married and when you return to the city of Medina and see that your sister Fatima is no longer there, then I ask you for one thing, that you and your wife come to my grave and recite Fatiha." Abul Fadl Abbas and Ali Akbar are not able to hold in their tears. They walk away saying, "Fi amanillah." On the day of the travel, we see as the caravan is walking away, Bibi Fatima is supported by Salama and Al-Baneen on either side. Then we see as the caravan goes, Hussain ibn Ali is constantly looking back towards his daughter, and smiling and waving at his daughter. Yet Ali Akbar is not able to do so, because he's constantly weeping. Yet once the caravan turns around the corner, Hussain ibn Ali stops the caravan and starts to cry. People ask, "Oh Hussain, why is it that you are crying now and not when you had said Fi amanillah?" Because that smile upon my lips gave support to Fatima, knowing that I will return. But I know that I shall not return to Medina. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, wa dhan liqada'ihi wa tasliman li'amri. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma adkhil ala ahli al-qubur as-surur. Allahumma aghni kulla faqir. اللهم اشف كل جائع، اللهم اكس كل عريان، اللهم اقض دين كل مدين، اللهم فرج عن كل مكروب، اللهم ارض كل غريب، اللهم فك كل عصير، اللهم اصلح كل فاسد من امور المسلمين، اللهم اشف كل مريض، اللهم سد فقرنا بغناك، اللهم غير سوء حالنا بحسن حالك، اللهم اقض عنا الدين واغننا من الفقر انك على كل شيء قدير. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
زوروا سيدي ومولاي معتمدي ورجاي، ذخري وذخيرتي في آخرتي ودنياي. أبا عبد الله الحسين، أصالة عن نفسي ونيابة عن والدي ووالدي والدي ومن أوصاني دعاء أو زيارة. السلام عليك يا أبا